Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So as promised, today, do not be alarmed, I don't have my eye makeup on yet because I wanted to do a quick review slash mini tutorial of the new Pat McGrath. Well, I don't know if this one's actually that new. My new Pat McGrath Mothership palette. I believe this is the Mothership 5, but I will link it down below regardless. But I just got this for my 23rd birthday in March, and so I have been using it and absolutely loving it. So today I will be doing an overall review while I apply the makeup. I'm probably gonna do a warm tone look because that's just one of my favorites and what I've been mostly doing with this. But I have in fact tried every single shadow in here since I've had the palette for the last month. So it has been absolutely fantastic. I will also include some swatches and you guys will be able to see how gorgeous these are. These three glitters in the corner, and this one I guess too, but these are just like the absolute most stunning things ever. So I'm probably gonna do some of that. We're gonna be using just exclusively this palette. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start out with this shade right there, which is the only transition shade that's really featured in the palette. Also, please excuse this eye. I'm having some really terrible allergies and it keeps watering. So we're just going to have to push through that. But I also have a little extra mirror right here. So if you see me looking right here, it's because I'm looking at the mirror. So we're going to start out with that transition shade, which at first I was a little bit concerned about because it is on the darker side, especially for my skin tone. But since using it, I've absolutely loved this transition shade, or this shade as a transition shade, because it has a little bit of that terracotta color that I was talking about yesterday within it, but it also can go well with gold. It goes with pinks because it has a little bit of a red undertone. It's just a really versatile shade and I really enjoy it. I also think it complements my skin tone quite well. So do the other eye like I said. There we have it. I'm gonna go ahead and use my powder brush, kind of go underneath. There's no fallout. I don't see that as an issue with this palette, but like I said, my eye is really watering, so I'm just trying to keep that at bay. Okay, so next up, I'm actually gonna go in with an outer corner brush. This brush, it's like a pencil brush, and I'm gonna go in with this, again, like cherry chocolate brown color. There's also a beautiful plum in this palette, which I have used and I did a look with. It was absolutely stunning, especially with my eye color. So definitely recommend these darker shades. I'm just gonna put this on the very outer corner here and slowly build it up and a little bit out. Okay, so now that's really the dark shadow put on. I'm gonna go back in with my first brush in that first shade, tap it off, and then we're just gonna re-blend everything. As you guys can see, like, this hasn't had any fallout. Super easy to work with. This is one of those just like foolproof eyeshadow palettes, which I do have a couple Natasha Denona palettes. I will say with Natasha Denona versus Pat McGrath, Natasha Denona, you do definitely have to have a little bit more of a strategic hand or a makeup skill set to use. Some of her, pardon me, some of her different textures of her shadows are very tricky to work with and to get the most out of them. With these, I have not noticed that at all. All you do is, as you'll see just in a minute, dip your finger in, slide it on, and it's absolutely stunning. So we're gonna go ahead and highlight before I put the glitter on. So I'm gonna use this far shade, which again, I was worried was gonna be too dark for me, since it's not like a white like I usually use, but it's actually super stunning. I really like the texture of it, and I also, for like very, very natural looks, have used that on my lid as well. So I don't know if it's really coming across on camera, but it's absolutely stunning. I'm gonna take my ring finger and we're gonna go into the inner corner with that. Which, it's just like a kind of a tacky feel texture to this shadow, and it works really, really well because it clings. So it just, yeah, really love that. Okay, what glitter should I use today? Because this look will go with all of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch 4 of them, and the 4 like really glittery shades so you guys can see. It's just insane. So this is the white, the green shift, the rose, and then this is like the bronzy gold. Oh my god. So a lot of these are really great for like toppers, especially this like white gold. I definitely want to put that on top. I might go ahead and do the bronzy one and then do that on top, but both of these I've used and they are just absolutely stunning. I'm gonna go in with the bronze shade here, and I'm gonna go in just with my finger, and I'm just gonna pat it on. This one is such an interesting shadow. You guys will notice out of all the glitters, this one has a very, very rough texture to it. Very, very textured. It almost feels like you can feel the chunks of glitter as you rub it. It's a very, very tough. And so I was very nervous to use this one at first, just because it was such a rough texture. I was kind of put off by it. After I ended up using it, it goes on great. It doesn't have any fallout, and you don't feel the texture on your lid, obviously. So it gives a gorgeous look as well. Another thing to note with these shadows by Pat McGrath is on her Instagram, she uses these with dry brushes a lot. So like, I don't really have an exact brush that she would use. Well, kind of like this one, like a compact blending brush. She uses these a lot with the glitters, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. I am personally not that confident in my skills to do that yet, but definitely check out her techniques. This is what we have so far. So last but not least, I'm going to go in with this shade, and we're gonna just put this on top. This is just absolutely to die for. I'm just gonna wipe it across the lid. Again, it's just crazy. Very, very minimal fallout from these. You don't have to use a glitter glue. You don't have to use a wet brush, just your finger, or like she does, just a dry brush. Then I'm gonna go in again with my blending brush, which I would always do no matter if it was a glitter shadow or not, and just blend out those edges. So now I didn't have any fallout. I had maybe a little over here, which could definitely be my fault, but considering how glittery and how beautiful and sparkly these shadows are, it's nothing. It's really nothing. So just wanted to give you guys that look. So off camera really quickly, I'm gonna finish up my eyes, and here is the final look. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a little up close action of how the look turned out. I'm very happy with it. Definitely think it was really easy to do, and I feel like you guys can definitely do this too. I also am working on a dupes for both this palette as well as the Natasha Denona Gold palette, so once I have that, you guys will be seeing that very, very soon, so you don't have to spend so much money to achieve this look. But while we're here, I might as well show you guys what I did. Okay, so now let's get into the review of the palette. I am definitely very, very impressed with the palette. I think it is very user-friendly. I think that it makes a lot of sense, the shades that she has included. Like I said, you could add green to this, you could add purple to this, you could add the red to this, and everything just kind of cohesively works together somehow. I think all the shades are very, very easy to use, and you can use them in so many different ways. However you like to do makeup, you can really like excel and have just a gorgeous eye look doing what you already do. So you don't have to adapt what you're doing for this palette, and I think that that's very important, especially for makeup lovers who do have a way that they like to do things or looks that they like to achieve. She also has a ton of different palettes that are very similar, that have different shades. So if you do think you like the textures and the finishes that she's offering, then definitely check out the different colors if these colors aren't up your alley. For me, I do love the neutrals with the little pops of color. They definitely accentuate my green eyes. So that's why I did pick this one, because red tends to do that and plum or purple tend to do that. And like I said in my previous video, I do use gold on almost a daily basis, and rose, that's like one of my other go-tos. So this palette just really works well for me, but definitely check out her other ones. I definitely will say that I do think there are better mattes out there. The mattes in here are really, really wonderful and work just fine. I do think I have better mattes in my collection. I think where this palette really shines, which is why I got it and why I think a lot of you will be interested in it, is these shimmers, the glitters. There's just no one that compares on the market today to that level of shine with that ease of application. I have never encountered something like that. I think it's very, very unique to Pat McGrath shadows, and it's why I will continue to be a customer of Pat McGrath Labs. Also, her packaging, let me touch on that. This is very weighty. It is very heavy. Not too heavy, obviously, to where I can't pick it up, but definitely feels like it's worth the price. The price tag on this I will include for US dollars, where I am located, is $125. That is a lot, especially for the amount of shades you get, but like I said, this is definitely a collectible palette. I do use it a lot, so I definitely feel like I'm going to get the worth out of it. I did get this as a gift, but I definitely would purchase this if I had been saving up and wanted to treat myself. The packaging is also gorgeous, has the little gold emblems here, a completely gold back. There's the camera, hello, and just all of the details on it are absolutely gorgeous. A huge mirror inside, and then the pans are fairly large for this type of packaging, I guess. They're probably like a size of a quarter, maybe a little bit bigger than quarters. They're fairly, I didn't think anything of this size until right now. So I never was like, this is too small or these are massive. So if that gives you any indication of that. But yeah, I hope this review helps anyone that is thinking of purchasing one of her palettes and is curious about it, or anyone that wanted to see how they apply on the eye. I'm very happy with the look, and it took me like less than 10 minutes to do, which for this kind of look I think is absolutely insane. Especially, like I said, with these glitters on my eye, I feel ready to take on anything. To take on a concert, to take on my day of quarantining here at home, which is what I will be taking on today. But let's get into the swatches. have for you today. I want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope that you guys are having a happy, healthy, and safe day in quarantine or whenever you're watching this. I hope that you are just finding things to be grateful for today, and if you want to see anything else or you have any ideas for me for what you want to see down below, definitely thank you and be sure to subscribe. All right, thank you guys. See you next time.